Hi guys. Okay, let's talk about the Redneck Camper series. We had started out and had a pretty good start, and then I kind of got sidetracked because of some personal issues. But we're going to get back on the series now. Okay, you found your vehicle that you're going to use, whatever it is, and you have found the camper top that you want to use, whatever it is. Let's talk about how you attach it, because this is important. Now, the most robust way to do it, and really the best way to do it, is to drill and bolt it to the pickup, because this is merely sitting in place. And if you put any weight up here or whatever, if there's any sudden things like in sliding off in a ditch or wreck or whatever, this can shift off. So it needs to be solidly anchored to the body of the truck. The best way to do it, and the way I would recommend to do it if you want to actually drill the holes, is in the side of the base of the camper shell will be, of course, a metal plate, aluminum or whatever, and there'll be a series of holes already factory put there. Okay? So what I suggest you do is take a piece of masking tape and you there's the hole right there. Get right here on the side rail and put a piece of masking tape with a mark so you know that's where it's at. Okay, there's going to be a reason for this in a minute. Go do all 4 of them like that. Now lift the camper shell back off. You have put it up there and made sure it's lined up, the door will close, the tailgate closes, everything's meshed forward, back, left, right. Then you put that marking tape. Now you don't have to take the camper shell off, you just rotate it so I can get to this one, let's say. And I'm going to put up like a wide piece of masking tape, 3 inches wide, about that long, centered up on that mark. Follow me, there's a reason. I'll do that at all 4 places. Now I will recenter up the camper shell, make sure everything works, the doors work, everything's fine. And then I will come in that hole, that's where I will take a magic marker and I will color in that hole on that masking tape. Now I am guaranteed a flat alignment. What can happen is you'll drill the holes without doing this kind of prep where I can see where it goes. I just mark a little mark on it and be alright. Yeah, you can. And I've lined it up before, and I've simply went in the hole and I had a light color body truck, like a white truck or a blue or something, and a black magic marker I've colored in the hole. You can do that if you want to skip the step I just said. But the point is, make sure those 4 holes are properly lined up. Because I don't recommend you just measure the holes and, oh, it's 4 inches down, 2 inches down. It'll never line up. You'll go to put it in and the holes will be a quarter off or whatever, or you got to kind of push it to make it, and then that's wanting to bow up the bottom. It's got to sit natural and flat to keep from leaking. Okay, so let it up there be natural. Now once you've got it marked in whatever way you're going to do, take the camper shell off. I recommend the tape for the reason it's going to keep your paint from cracking and running so easily. The tape helps hold it. Okay, because we're going to drill through that paint and through that metal all the way through into the underside so we can put an anchor bolt into it. Okay? Now, I've taken and got the masking tape or the mark up there, whatever, put tape around it to keep it from running. How do I drill a hole without the drill bit going and dancing everywhere and marring up all the paint and everything else? Well, a little trick that Blackie used, and it's helped me many a time, is take a piece of wood, something long enough that I can hold on to, drill a hole in it that's just big enough for the drill bit. Okay? Look in the hole, line it up over the mark exactly, run the drill up there, and then holding the stick, drill in. This is in effect holding the drill bit, and it keeps the drill bit from doing this. Okay? You can also center punch, which means take a nail and right in the middle of your mark, take a hammer, go tap tap and kind of sink it in just a grunt so the drill bit's got something to grab. It's downhill. If it's, remember, it's smooth metal and it may be curved and it wants to just run. Okay? So this is going to avoid you marring up the main paint of the truck. Okay? drill the hole all the way through. drill the hole and then kind of a very little, don't do this radical, but kind of once you got the hole vertically, kind of put the drill bit halfway down and kind of do that. That's going to bevel the edges just a little bit. This is going to help keep cracking to a minimum of the paint cracking later on. Okay, I have created the hole, leaving the masking tape over. Now I take some black primer and spray the hole. What that's going to do is that's actually going to coat the fresh metal. I have just drilled and opened up fresh metal. That's a place for corrosion to take place, right? So I'm going to put primer in that hole. Remember how I wallered it just a little bit? Now that bolt has got a little wiggle room. It's not a press in, it's just dropping in the hole. Okay? Next, I will remount, after all my holes are drilled, I will remount the camper shell up there and line up the holes. Take a punch or something and drop in the hole. And I will like line this one up and I'll drop the punch in. Then I'll come over here and I'll line this one up and I'll drop a punch in, or a dowel or a stick or whatever will drop down in there. A screwdriver maybe. Go up here to the other one, do the same thing, and do the same thing. Make sure they're all aligned. Okay? Now close the tailgate, close the lid, make sure everything's working, because we can adjust it now. Okay, everything's working. Open it up and taking out only one. I'm going to take out that screwdriver, let's say. Now the bolt that I'm going to put in there. I like to use eye bolts. And I will show you what an eye bolt looks like right here. Okay, eye bolt. This is what I'm talking about, an eye bolt. See, it's got a loop at the top. Now the eye bolt, putting it in the side like that will give me a place to anchor, and I can easily stick a stick through this and turn it should I need to. Okay, I'm going to take about a 3-inch or 2-inch eye bolt. Okay, I'm going to put it through a small block of wood or a washer, something big, drop it in from the top. I'm going to turn that eye bolt so that I can easily hook a bungee cord to it. It now becomes an extra anchor point inside the cab, right? I come up from the bottom, I put my washer, my spacer, my block of hardwood, whatever, and then I put the nut on it, and I put a wrench up there, and sticking a screwdriver through the eye bolt to keep it from turning, I will take the wrench and tighten it up good and tight. I will go around and do all of those. Now what has that provided you? It's given me an eye bolt in here that I've got a place to hook a bungee cord to when I'm securing a load and stuff like that within my truck. It gives a distinct advantage, okay? It's also very easy to take off in the field, because if for some reason I'm out in the woods, don't have a lot of my tools with me, and you should always have a small tool kit, I can always stick something in that and turn it and grip a hold of the nut with a pair of pliers and unscrew it if I've got to take the camper shell off for whatever reason. Okay, it allows me to take it off in the field. That's one of the reasons I don't like. I've seen guys say use Allen wrenches and all kinds of keys and low mount things. That's okay. Carry the tool with you, because if I've slid off in a ditch on a muddy dirt road and this camper shell is hopelessly bound up into something and I can't get the truck out because of that, if I need to take the camper shell free to get out, I can do it. Is it a long shot? Yeah, probably never happened. But the experience, guys, Murphy's a mean SOB, and he'll pick the one thing you are not prepared for. That's the thing he's going to put you in. So think of these things ahead of time. Can I take this off if I had to? That's the point. Okay. If you're not going to do that, mounting it this way with the eye bolts this is going to become a permanent part of the truck, and I'm not taking it off except in real cases where I just got to. Okay, suppose I'm using this truck for also hauling family cargo. Your daughter's going to be going back from college and things. You know you got to do this. Your wife always likes to get new chest of drawers or redecorate, and I'm always got to take this off in order to use the pickup as a hauling medium. Okay, when that happens, then I'm looking at, I need to be able to take this off a little easier. And what I recommend you doing, a lot of times these camper shells when they're new, they come with this aluminum C-clamp. They're garbage, guys. Let me just be straight up with you. Get rid of those things, get good C-clamps. Now let me shift the camera over here and I'm going to show you how I attach mine, because I want to be able to take mine off should I desire it in relatively quick, clean method. Okay, let me show you this. Okay, here is the C-clamp. Now you see how I've set it. A lot of people want to do it with the turners up here at the top. That is not good, because this side that I'm going into is actually an L like that, and if I do that, it wants to, the C-clamp wants to hook on this and wants to just slide off. You'll never get the top to be truly secure. And I've put a block of wood up here, and then I've ran from the bottom up the extension part. So this is fully against metal, fully against that, and it's squeezing it together fully. It's slow to turn that bottom. Now this is giving me an anchor point here, like you see, that I can also anchor bungee cords or whatever to secure my load, but this is a very solid way to do it, but it's also very quick to take off. I just unspin it. It's going to take a second to unspin it all the way down to come out, but once I do and pull this block off, I can easily take this top free in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so that's securing it. Now sealing it underneath. Nothing in the universe is perfect, and if you think, well, it's a nice flat bottom edge camper shell and it's a nice flat bottom edge of the pickup, when they sit together they'll be flush, right? No, there'll be gaps. You'll be able to look along and see it, and as you go down the road, rain can blow up and come in around the sides. So you need some sort of flexible sealer between it. Now they make this strip rubber that has an adhesive on it that you put along the base of the camper shell, and that way when you sit it up there and center it up, it'll grip. That works quite well. If you don't have that, you can also do an old trick that I've done of going and getting double-sided carpet tape and running it either on the camper shell bottom or on the pickup bed rail. I like to use the pickup bed rail. And run like a 1-inch strip of it down the middle of it, and then get the expandable rubber like goes in the liners of your toolbox drawers or your kitchen cabinets. You get them in all kinds of colors. Black's fine, but it's kind of this black foam that's kind of a mesh, right? I cut that in a strip and put it on top of the tape. Now when I set it up there and lower it down in position and anchor it, it's squeezing, and that's acting like a gasket to keep my edge completely sealed up all the way around. In the front corner up there, you've got something a little unique. You want the front to go all the way from both sides of the bed, all the way across, solid. You want your side rails to come to it. What I mean is this. Across the front of the bed is this. The side rail comes up and meets it like this. If you make it where the side rails go all the way to the end and then the piece comes across the front, this leaves a gap right here, and water can force in and drizzle in the front as you're driving in very heavy rain and the wind is coming up between the cab and the body, and the rain is pouring down, coming off your windshield, rolling over the top and dropping down. This can cause leaks. So again, the very front piece at the front of the bed, you want it to go all the way, and the side rails come up to it. Not like this, okay? That will seal up your end. Now, you have sealed it up. You have now mounted it, okay? And it's mounted good and secure. After you've got it secure, it looks like, okay, this is it. Close it up and take it for a ride down a rough road a little bit. You know, something where you're shifting a little bit or whatever. Get in, go in and out of driveways that are steep or whatever, but make the body kind of flex a little bit, okay? Then go back and check your connections. Because as the body flexes and as this top flexes, there may have been some tension when you were mounting this that has now been released, and now there's a little bit of play. So check all your connections. I recommend that when you mount it, give it 2 or 3 days and double check all those connections again. After about a week of checking those connections every few days, if they're still good and solid, you're good. You'll be there for 10 years. It'll never work loose. But any flexing whatever has kind of taken out of it. Any side-to-side shift, it's settled in. Okay? And so now you're set. Now you're ready to start camping operations and stuff like that. Okay, now let's touch on repair just a little bit, because this one has a small hole in it that I'm about to show you right now. And we're going to talk about how we're going to repair that small hole. Okay guys, see this hole right here? This is where something on the inside being shifted, picked up, or whatever, has poked a hole in the roof and actually made a hole. Now these thin tin are known for getting little holes in them occasionally. Okay, how do I seal this up so it doesn't leak into this inside of it? That is going to be very simple and easy, and this is how we're going to do it. Okay, over the years of working with vehicles that had metal sides like this, both when I was a truck driver and etc., and you'd have a hole knocked into the side of a trailer, and you're carrying some piece of material, some equipment that cannot get wet. And so the first thing we would do when I was working for a company that was carrying multi-million-dollar radar units and all kinds of very sensitive electronics, and we would rent an 18-wheeler trailer because we had our own truck and a flatbed, but if we had to have an enclosed box trailer, we'd go rent a trailer. And the first thing I do is get up in there, pull the door about halfway down, and go in there and start looking up and seeing if I had daylight anywhere. If I did, I wanted to patch it or make sure that the equipment was nowhere near that. Okay. And if it was something where I just didn't have a choice, it's got to be here because of the way the load had to be, there's a hole right there, how would I patch that hole? Well, same way I'm going to patch this. I'd get one of these epoxy sticks. Now this is JB Weld steel stick. This is some of the best stuff I found for doing these kind of patches. Now what it is and these are available at Walmart or hardware stores or whatever, and it's a two-piece of epoxy that is separated. You're going to cut off a little piece, and then you're going to knead it between your fingers and then press it into that hole. Now what I like to do is, you know how an earplug works? You know how you take and squeeze an earplug to put it in your ear? Same idea. I'm going to take it and I'm going to make a little thin, I'll make it like a Hershey's Kiss, right? A little tib to it, and I'm going to push that down in the hole and try to force it through the hole. Push straight down, and I'm going to get on the inside and make sure it's forced through the hole on the bottom side. Okay? Now, is the dent or puncture up or down? This one is up. I will get on the inside and I will hold up a flat metal surface like a hammer face or a piece of whatever, bottom of a pot, thick heavy pot will work, but just something that'll flush sit up there against it. A little small anvil or something. And then I'll get somebody on the outside to take a hammer and lightly tap it, tink, 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 and cause that metal to bow in. So I've got the seal material between it, and then I have the pieces kind of mesh in. Well, that will be a 100% seal. Now that plug is completely sealed off, I let it dry, and then I kind of sand off any roughness of it. And that should make sure I don't get any leaks there ever again. I've learned to do this trick, and it seems to work very, very well. And these sticks are cheap, they're just a couple of bucks. And to carry it in your emergency kit, because we're coming out, and man, we're going to be out here several days or whatever, and for whatever reason, boom, we get a hole up here. Being able to push it back up in there, use this to seal it up, as well as maybe, you know, having to put tape over the top. But I've seen where a big limb in a storm come down, I mean, size of my arm, and harpooned a hole, and it's a coffee can size hole in it. And we've managed to plug it up by pushing, getting the stick out, pushing the metal back up, using this type stuck to go around all the thing, pushing it together as best we could, and then putting a little duct tape or something over the top. We got through the week-long camp out without it being just pouring rain inside the cab. You need a repair kit. Duct tape and something like this. That's going to get you out of it. Okay, now you've got your rig set up to your cab. Do you want roof storage of some kind? Now what I've elected to do is do this. These are pressure treated 2x4. Do not use non-pressure treated, because this is going to be out in the weather all the time. So pressure treated will give you probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. It just depends on your environment before it gives up the ghost. Now I have intentionally, as you can see, made them stick out further. In fact, you can really see it on that one, how much I left it sticking out. There's a reason for that. It gives me extra anchor points, so I can bring a rope around this to tighten up and lash down. These eye bolts allow me to put a load up here and hook to this and go to the opposite side. Now how does this stay up here? Inside the cab there's a series of horseshoe frames that are going across, and these are supporting it, taking the weight from the sides and the top and transferring it all the way. Okay, in the corners are a heavy one. Along the edge of the mirror will be two other heavy ones. The window will be two other heavy ones. So it's spreading the load out. I took the eye bolt, which is a like 6 or 7 inch long eye bolt, maybe even an 8 inch. I think it's like 8 inch eye bolt. Up here at the top, I just ran a nut all the way as high as you go up on the threads and stop. Then I put a washer. I drilled my 2 holes in my top all the way through and in my 2x4 to match. I put the bolt through and I put a big glob of silicone inside the hole in the wood, and then I used the bolt to push it through. That seals it up inside here so no moisture is getting from here in there and rotting the wood from the inside out. Okay, that goes through that rail on the inside, and then on the bottom where it comes through the roof I put another washer and another nut. Having someone hold it out here with a pair of pliers, I put a wrench on the inside and I tighten it up and let it squeeze together. This makes a very strong hook, and I can put a couple of 100 pounds up there. I would not want to overload one of these aluminum tops with more than like 150 to 200 pounds at the most. It's how it's laid out. Okay, this is not meant for you to put a car on top of. You never get up here and walk on it. It can't handle that kind of stress. The number one thing you need to realize is this is for light storage. Those poles for camping, the whatever, I can lash it up here. Okay, now let me give you a better look at the top of it right quick. Okay, as you can see, there's my 2x4 going across and my 2 anchor points. Here's my other one with 2 anchor points, and these are not exactly centered up. Notice that one sticks out a little bit more than this one. That one is a little bit shorter than this one. I just kind of centered it up a little bit, but I actually like the odd length because how the load fits. Sometimes you need one a little shorter or one a little longer, and I intentionally left it this way so I can anchor to it. I'm also going to be anchoring to this to go out to form a cubed out area. It's going to be my privacy area for my shower, my bathroom, and etc. But this up here makes a very solid area. I can now mount stuff. Now you could also mount other things on here. You could put dividers on here. You could drill through and put a bolt sideways for something to lash this way to keep 2 different things from sliding. Whatever. The sky's the limit. You can do it. Now how to find where this is. Notice that line of bolts right there on the top. There's a line going right there and there's a line going right here. So that told me that directly underneath that is that bar. I'm going to find the center of that bar and I'm going to drill the hole and I'm going to match the top holes to match it. Okay, so we've got our truck. We've secured the shell to the body. If you've got a fiberglass one, it'll have the same type mounting plate on the bottom. If you've got a fiberglass one, you can patch holes with some sort of epoxy stick as well. Read the directions on the epoxy stick. I'm pretty sure that steel stick also fixes fiberglass, and like I told you, fiberglass can be a problem if you don't address it properly. So educate yourself on how to patch holes in fiberglass. Okay, it's effective and you're not going to have a constant headache with it. I've got a top rail on it for additional storage and securing things. I now have my sides fully secured and have expanded to give me extra anchor points. So as I put loads or whatever in there, I can secure them in place and they don't shift around on me going to and from camping. That's a big thing. Alright, we've got everything set up now. In our next video, which will be coming fairly soon, will be the first camp out. I'll show you how I camp. I'll have all my stuff in here, my bed, etc. And we're going to run out and do an overnighter in it. And I'm going to show you how this works as my system works. Thank you very much for watching my videos, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button to help feed the algorithm for me. And there'll be more videos to come for the channel and more in this series. Welcome to 2022. Today is New Year's Day, and I'd like to wish you a Happy New Year. Please leave any questions or comments down below. I'd love to hear from you, and it really helps me to see where you want me to go when I'm talking about a series like this. If there's anything I can do to help you out, just put it in the comments. I'll be glad to do what I can. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.